This is my fourth video that I'm making, and this one is going to be about choice, which again is another really important topic that is honestly really overlooked. Like a lot of people don't really like they understand obviously choice is a thing everybody has, you do the good option or the bad option, right? But almost don't really realize how absolute that is, right? Like how much weight that carries, right? Like how important the almost how much we can even take for granted that ability to choose, right? The ability to be able to, you know, do a bad thing or a good thing, right? Like that is something we take for granted a lot, and obviously I wanted to talk about it. So I wanted to start off with in the garden, right? All the way back, right? Genesis, like all the way back. And in the original, garden and all that, people often debate and kind of are like, well, why was there a tree? Like, obviously, like, why were Adam and Eve able to leave this garden of paradise in this perfect area that was seemingly perfect? Like, why the hell would you leave? Like, it's perfect. You got everything. Do whatever you want. Go wherever you want. Freaking have anything like fed to you, given to you, perfect, no problems, no anything, right? But they had to have an ability to leave because it's an important thing to understand that choice then gives value to love and joy in the first place, right? Like it's often a misconception that people actually believe, and you often see it in media and you see it in different TV shows and even mythologies and certain things, even in the real world, right? Where it's this idea that like destruction and annihilation and misery and all of these terrible things are like needed to have joy and to have good things in the world, right? And that's just simply not true at all. Like it's I can understand that because it's like, well, if you don't have the bad things in the world, you can never appreciate the good. And it's like, yeah, but it's a bit more deeper than that. It's not exactly like the destruction is bad or whatever, that it's like that, or I mean destruction is bad, but it's more of like the destruction is not needed for joy, but it is more that the choice, the ability that one can choose destruction and annihilation and misery and terror to, they can choose that. That's what really gives value to the joy, because if you just were forced to have joy, you wouldn't. That's nothing. That entire idea is just, it's false. Like you wouldn't actually be happy. Like if people forced you to do something, you wouldn't be happy about that. Even if it's something you like to do for a while, at some point you would not want to do it. You don't want to be forced to, right? So even in this, obviously builds up to an absolute scale where it is where Adam and Eve were at the point where no matter, even at absolute perfection, right, complete perfection in the garden, they still had a choice, because that still carries the value of needing to be able to not pick technically the right option, right? Because that is what gives value to it, and it's important to remember that, and especially within modern day and stuff that we do now, right, to be able to remember that choice is extremely important and has a lot of value to it, right? um, but even still, to kind of expand on the whole ideal of then having choice within the Garden of Eden and people having it, then there's a different layer, because obviously they didn't just eat the apple, because they wanted to or whatever. Like, well, I mean, technically, but there's obviously some persuasion, which then goes to my second point, which is then at some degree angelic, we'll just call him Elohim, right, to keep it, synonymous naming. Elohim are able to not like choose, right? They are able to not do what they're meant to do, right? Like often they're seen as a very like oh, they just do exactly what they're made to do. They're like almost mindless drones, but they're super powerful, so they don't care, right? But it's like, no, that's not the point. It's that the real thing is that they are beings of absolute nature. They are so absolute that is why you have demons and angels, because Elohim either are a demon or an angel. That's it. There's no Because humans, we have a lack of understanding or a lack of knowledge, or we don't have the bigger picture, which then lets us be in this in-between state. But angels are not like that. Or Elohim, my bad. But Elohim are like that, where like, or they're not like that in the sense of they can be in the middle. They are just because they know everything, right? They are absolute beings of. There's no excuse almost to say, like there's no excuse that they could have to like be like, oh, well, I messed up, God, like give me another chance, right? Like no, it's like, dude, you knew everything. There was nothing persuading you except your own pride and your own like emotions and stuff. Rather, like nothing was like even with humans, he's extremely forgiving with us because the whole idea that like we're weak, number one, compared to Elohim, and also that we keep getting constantly attacked by demons because it's like their only hope of anything to satisfy and satiate them is that's it, is to just drag us down with them. So, and he's very grateful for that. I mean, fucking jeez, he's very forgiving of that, right? Like he looks upon us and he's like, all right, listen, like I get it, you guys, you're you're going through a lot, all right, which is why we are granted a lot of forgiveness. But with more angels, he's seen to be very like, boom, like that's it, right? Because their choice is absolute. It's one or the other. That's it. Our choice can be very blurred or obscured even in certain ways, right? But still, even to an extent, we are still held accountable, right? Because obviously God will make it and understand that we are blurred, but he will unblur and make the decision quite clear so that you don't really have an excuse, right? Like he does that a lot in your life where he'll just intercede and he'll just, give you a choice and he'll make it more than obvious if you want to be able to pursue it or not, right? Like, and he'll make it a very important thing, So, which leads to my third point, which is why natural evil even like ends up happening in the first place, right? Like the reason why this natural evil is even able to take place, and why a lot of almost like the idea of that everybody's like, well, why doesn't God just interfere, right? Like why doesn't God just fix all this, snap his fingers and make this all right? Is because again, like I said before, he has to have always given us an out, right? Like an ability to always leave, right? An ability to not be able to follow him. And unfortunately, that goes to extremely, large magnitudes to where to be able at this point in the world are just so much terrible things going on because people's choices have led them, to do bad things. Because unfortunately, most men in this world choose to be evil and impure into love of themselves rather than an actual, what they're supposed to be doing, like what they're prescribed to be doing, but they just choose not to and to do their own will and to choose that. But the reason he lets that happen is because then it lets the small amount of people, right? Like even if it is a small amount, he doesn't even care. Just the people that are actually pure and genuinely loving and caring, it gives them value, right? Because they are the ones who have persevered and they actually are the ones who have earned the righteous crown, essentially. Like they got it, right? They went through it, and it's because they need to have this choice. This choice is, like they have it, and that gift allows them to be able to persevere and to be able to have continuously chose God and to do his right path and to continue to follow him and to do what he asks, and then that is what will construct kind of the whole new almost like the whole New Jerusalem idea, like this whole idea that it's of these people that have fought the good fight and kept the faith and just had finished the race. they did it, right? They did it, and it's because that's who he truly wants within his kingdom. He doesn't just want like just anybody or whatever, right? But again, he's giving everybody a chance to be able to enter. Like it's a whole choice. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so important that he gives everybody that choice. And it's also what I've talked about in other videos where it's like an understanding of that his will and his understanding is absolute. It is so beyond anything that if you choose to follow him, he will give you something, right? Like he will give you a path out. He will give you something somewhere, right? Like it might not be easy. It probably won't actually, but I can tell you he will give you something, right? Like that is a guarantee. You just have to keep choosing to follow him, right? You have to keep doing that because despite what everybody else is choosing to do, right? That's their choice. They have that. That is their thing. That's what they choose to do. But what I'm saying is that it's more important to follow God and Christ and him, the one ultra in immaculate truth, the apotheosis of truth itself. Like it is Christ. It's him. It always was and it always has been. Like he is, it's him. So I'm just, very glad that I'm able to follow his truth and to be able to understand his truth, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So I hope that this finds you well and that this is good. And till next time.